You know that we were talking about the reproductive system, right? Reproductive functions and diseases. So the female reproductive system, we talked in last class, female reproductive system performs more functions than the male reproductive system, because I mentioned that male reproductive system only produces sperm, right? Female reproductive system produces ovum or egg, but also performs few other very important functions. For example, fertilization of ovum takes place inside the female reproductive system, right? You remember the ampulla of the uterine tube or fallopian tube where the sperm and ovum meet, okay? So fertilization occurs. Also, fertilized egg becomes what? Embryo, right? And embryo becomes what? Fetus. All happens inside female reproductive system, right? And then birth. So that's why female reproductive system performs more function and more complicated, and two important cycles take place in female reproductive system from the puberty to menopause, right? The ovarian cycle as well as the menstrual cycles. So those cycles are also maintained by the hormones. Now, male reproductive system, the essential organs are ovaries. Sorry, not ovaries, right? Testes. Okay. So testes are male essential or primary reproductive organs, and accessory organs or structures include external genitalia, external genitalia includes penis and scrotum. Okay, so these two structures belong to male external genitalia. Okay. Then you have ductus deferens or vas deferens. It's a duct or tube. Or also called vas deferens. Same thing. Then you have prostate, which is a gland. You have seminal vesicles. Seminal vesicles. So one prostate, two seminal vesicles, and also you have a gland, two glands, one pair. Those are called vulvo-urethral glands, tiny glands around the urethra, two in number. So these three are the glands. One prostate, two seminal vesicles, and two vulvourethral glands. Okay. So those are the structures of male reproductive system. Now, where the sperm are produced? Sperm are produced inside the testis, right? You all know that sperm are produced inside the testis. Now, where the fluid, the liquid part, semen is produced. Semen is produced mainly by the seminal vesicles. Okay, the fluid. Okay, about 70% volume of fluid comes from two seminal vesicles, and testis produce sperm. Okay, and a small amount of fluid comes from prostate and rectal glands. Now these two join together, sperm and fluid, and get out from the body. That is the ejaculation. Now, where inside the testis, sperm are produced. So if you see inside the testis, there are lobules separated by septa. These are called septa. Septum is singular, septa is plural. So septa separate the testis, inside the testis, into many lobules. So this is one lobule, this is another lobule. So many lobules. About 250 to 300 lobules are in each testis. Okay? And inside each lobule you have coiled tube-like structures like this. Okay? 3 to 5 coiled tube-like structures, and these are called seminiferous tubules. Very important. Seminiferous tubules. These coiled tube-like structures inside the lobule, right, are called what? Seminiferous tubules. So all these lobules have seminiferous tubules. Now, the sperm is produced inside the seminiferous tubule. Where? Inside the seminiferous tubule, if I cut the seminiferous tubule, just if I make a section here and see under the microscope, this is the tubule, this is the lumen. Okay? And this is just a section of seminiferous tubule. And in the wall of the seminiferous tubule, you have the stem cells. So these are the stem cells. Stem cells for what? Sperm. Stem cells for a sperm. And these are called spermatogonia. Spermatogonia. Gonia is plural, gonium is singular. So many stem cells. In the outer part of the wall of the seminiferous tubule. Just to know that the stem cells, spermatogonia, divide by mitosis first. Mitosis, from 1 we get how many? 2. And this cell division, first division is mitosis. Okay? So from 1 we get 2. Among these 2, 1 will remain here in the outer part of the seminiferous tubule as a new stem cell. So this is a new stem cell, will stay here, and another one will go towards the lumen, will move towards the lumen like this. And when it will come close to the lumen, its shape changes like this. Okay? And these are mature sperm called spermatozoa. Spermatozoa. Mature sperm. So stem cells are called what? Spermatogonia, and mature sperms are called spermatozoa. Make sense? In between you have a few steps or stages, primary spermatocyte, secondary spermatocyte, okay? You don't need to know more detail, just know from the stem cells what kind of cell division occurs first?
Mitosis.
Mitosis. Now, this is very important. After mitosis, here another type of cell division occurs, that is meiosis. Okay, meiosis. So first, during maturation of sperm or production of sperm, first mitosis occurs and then meiosis. So both cell divisions. Remember here, only during sperm and ovum production, meiosis take place. No other cell division meiosis occurs. All cell divisions of your body occur by mitosis. All cells. Only during sex cell production, sperm and ovum, first mitosis, then also meiosis. Is it clear? Now, what's the purpose of meiosis?
Transform into something else.
It reduces, yes,
The chromosome?
chromosomes to half. Okay? Mitosis will keep the chromosome number same in daughter cells. Okay? Mitosis will keep the chromosome numbers what?
Same.
Same. Like we said 2n, 46. And when mitosis will occur in daughter cells, same number of chromosomes. But when meiosis occurs, here, what happens?
It just takes yours. Like
Yes. Second,
It just takes yours. Like it takes only half.
yes, half
Yeah.
the new cells. So it will be n and n. Make sense? So this is meiosis. Meiosis. There are two steps, meiosis 1 and meiosis what? 2. So you see, meiosis 1 will reduce the number of chromosomes to half, but meiosis 2 will not reduce, will keep the number of chromosomes same, only increase the number of cells. Okay? So when meiosis is complete, now you tell me, looking at this, when meiosis 1 and 2 both are completed, from one cell, how many cells we get? 4. Make sense? Meiosis 1 will give 2 cells, right? And number of chromosomes go down to half, right? And then meiosis 2 will further divide, but chromosomes will remain same. Make sense? So we get from 1 to 4 cells, and the number of chromosomes go down to half. Make sense? So that's what happens here. Okay? So this is mitosis. We'll keep the chromosome same. One will stay as a stem cell, and this one, for example, will stay as a stem cell there, and this one will go for further divisions. Okay, and these are the sperm. Okay, and in last stage of maturation, the shape changes and becomes elongated like this, and this one, the mature ones, will get detached and will enter into the lumen like this, and will start to get up. Okay, so these are mature sperm. So now if I go back, sperm are produced where? Inside the testis. Inside the testis you have lobules, right? Separated by what? Septum, right? You have how many lobules? About 250, yeah, lobules. Make sense? And in each lobule you have
Coil.
coiled tubules, right? Tubes. Those are called what? Seminiferous tubules. Make sense? And in the wall of the seminiferous tubule, sperm is produced. Spermatogenesis. Okay? Make sense? Okay. So good. Now, the number of sperm is very important. If you see the structure of a sperm has 3 parts. This part is called the head, This is called the body or meat piece. And this is the tail. Inside the head, you have the nucleus, where you have the chromosomes, half number of chromosomes, remember? So this is the nucleus, and inside the nucleus, you have the half number of chromosomes. So this is nucleus. Okay, and this head part, remember, is called genetic region. Why? Because chromosomes are there in the nucleus. That's why head part is also called genetic region. In meat piece, if you see inside, you have many mitochondria. Mitochondria are lined up like this, filled with what? Mitochondria. That's why the meat piece part is also called metabolic part. Okay, metabolic region. Makes sense, right? Mitochondria, metabolism occurs in mitochondria. Powerhouse, remember? Powerhouse of the cell is mitochondria. Metabolism, produce ATP. ATP gives power, right? Energy. Okay. And tail part is called locomotion. Locomotion means what? Anybody? You know.
Movement. Movement.
Movement. Yes. So tail part helps in movement. You know, fish, baby fish, have you seen? Like, you know, by moving the tail. Sperm is like that. It's like baby fish. It can swim in the fluid. Because it must swim to reach to the ampulla of the ductus deferens, or so ampulla of the uterine tube or fallopian tube. Anyway, so that is the normal sperm. Now I said the count of sperm is important. Male sterility or male infertility, inability to produce offspring, occurs due to decreased number or count of sperm in the semen. Male infertility or sterility. One main reason is decreased number of sperm in the semen. Normal count of sperm is between 200 to 300 million per ejaculation. Okay, so in each ejaculation, can you believe how big that number is, right? It's a million, not thousand or hundreds. Okay, so huge number of sperm are present in the semen and enter into the female reproductive system. But female reproductive system produces how many egg or ova at a time? Only one. Make sense? Very, very very precious, right? Precious. So very valuable. Egg is only one, right? That is sperm, 100 million number, right? Now, the question is, how many sperm can reach to the fallopian tube or uterine tube? You remember the picture, you must remember, this is the uterus, this is the uterine tube, these are called what? Anybody? Finger-like structures. here. Okay, so this is what? Ovary, right? Produces and releases egg, right? Ovum, very good. So ovum is released, only one, right? In each ovarian cycle, only one, usually. That will be taken into the uterine tube. This is the uterine, you must remember, uterine tube. So egg will be taken into the uterine tube, right? And egg is kind of slow, will slowly move, and when it will arrive here, that's the ampulla of uterine tube. Ampulla of the uterine tube. And sperm, this is the female reproductive system, sperm, 100 million sperm enter into the female reproductive system. And only like about 100 sperm can reach here. Make sense? 100 million enter into female reproductive system, but only 100 sperm can reach to the uterine tube. Okay? And now you tell me the normal count here is 100 sperm. From here to here only 100 arrives. Now if the count is 200 to 300 million, only 100 goes there. 100 go here. Make sense? Now if the count is like 20 million, 20 or 30 million, how many will come here? Just think 200 million. Out of 200 million, how many go there? 100, right? If 200 million is here, I said only 100 arrives here, right? Let's say 200, not 300, 200, okay? Then if the count is low, like 20 million, how many, the possibility? 110, right? You're right. 10, right? Now if someone has like, only 2 million sperm has entered into female reproductive system, the chance is what? 1. Make sense? Only 1. So you see, if the count of sperm is low, the chance of the number of sperm go to the uterine tube is very low, right? If someone has 5 million, there's like almost no, 50% chance of only one to get into the uterine tube. Make sense? So that's why the low count of sperm, even although the count is in million, that doesn't assure that any sperm will go. Make sense? Even 2 million, 3 million, there is very little chance that one sperm will go. Make sense? So that's why the low count of sperm, low count means still it could be million. Okay? Male can cause male infertility. Do you have any question?
What happened with the rest of the 1,999,999?
They will die. Yeah, they will die. Yes.
Extra.
It's a good question. Okay. Yeah, sperm will die there. Okay, in female reproductive system, they will die. And these are tiny cells, and after death, they will get dissolved in body fluid.
Okay.
Okay, get dissolved in body fluid. So sperm are not harmful. Why? Because they are, if the sperm are not carrying abnormal gene or or any virus, if the sperm are healthy, right? If it enters into another body, it will die and will get dissolved in the body. It will not cause harm. Okay. Anyway, so that's why low count of sperm is one reason of male infertility. Another is abnormal sperm. Sometimes we see that many sperm, the head and tail part are separated. This part is separated from the head part. So like this. These sperm are useless. They will not be able to move. So you'll see only few good sperm, healthy sperm, but many of them are, most of them are abnormal sperm. Sometimes we see one head, two tails, or two heads, one tail. Make sense? So these are abnormal sperm. If they are present, they are not useful. Okay? Yes.
What if one with two tails enters the system and fertilizes?
Only head contains the nucleus, right?
So it doesn't
the
matter.
gene. It doesn't matter. Tail is just helping to move. Tail is just helping to what? Move. If double-tailed enter into the uterine tube, it can fertilize.
That doesn't mean there's like a disability or something. With
No, because the genetic materials are where? Inside the head part, right? In the head,
Or in the
nucleus.
head.
In the nucleus is in the head, right? So inside the nucleus. As long as the nucleus and head part is fine, rest part is not big deal, okay? So if the chromosomes are fine, healthy, good, that's good. So number of sperm is a factor. What kind of sperm, abnormal sperm, can cause infertility? Now, the term oligospermia. Oligo. Have you heard this before? Oliguria. If the volume of urine is what? Low or more? Low, right? That is called oliguria. Remember that? So oligo indicates low. So oligospermia is the condition, the count of sperm is very low. Oligospermia. Make sense? And another clinical condition, azoospermia. A indicates absence, so no sperm in the semen. So if the count is low in the semen, that is called oligospermia. Make sense? If the count is like no sperm, only semen, that is called azoospermia. Okay. Now, the testis, this is the body, and this is the scrotum. And during the development, when the fetus is inside the mother's body, this is fetus inside the mother's body, the testes are formed inside the pelvic cavity. Pelvic cavity. These are testes. Okay? And when the fetus is about 8 months old, the testis starts to descend. So testis, both of them start to go down and enter into the scrotum. So they descend and finally go to the scrotum, enter into the scrotum. Okay? But they are formed inside the body cavity. Now, if the testis fails to descend or reach to the scrotum, that undescended testis that will remain there somewhere. You know, this is what happens here. There is a canal called inguinal canal here, inguinal canal, okay? So what happens, the testis enters into the inguinal canal here, and then through the inguinal canal it goes down to the scrotum. Make sense? Sometimes what happens, the testis either remains here in the body cavity or remains in the inguinal canal, but fails to descend all the way down to the scrotum. And this condition is called cryptorchidism. Okay, cryptorchidism. Let me check the spelling. Cryptorchidism. Cryptorchidism. C-H-I. You can also say cryptorchidism. Cryptorchidism or cryptorchidism. Some countries they say cryptorchidism. Some countries here we use more cryptorchidism. So that's the condition. Undescended testis. Testis is not going to the scrotum, remaining in the body cavity or inguinal canal. Cryptorchidism. Okay. Now, that is one condition that happens in male reproductive system. Another clinical condition that is interesting, that is called gynecomastia. What is gynecomastia? Anybody? Have you heard this? Yes.
Is it like development of breast tissue?
Yes. So, breast in male body, like breast like female. Okay. Enlargement of the breast in male, and that happens due to hormonal imbalance, due to low testosterone, male sex hormone. If in male body the amount of testosterone, the male sex hormone is low, okay, that can cause that. Okay. So that is gynecomastia, female-like breast in the male body. Let's see any other clinical condition. Another clinical condition that is called inguinal hernia. Again, this is the inguinal canal here. You have the inguinal canal, and if the intestine, you know, the small intestine, large intestine, small intestine is here. If the small intestine, a part of the small intestine enters into the inguinal canal, that is called hernia. Did we talk about hiatal hernia, part of the stomach, right? Up through the hiatus and the opening in the diaphragm. So similar way, if the part of small intestine just enters into the inguinal canal, that is called the inguinal hernia. So this is the intestine. This is the intestine. Okay. So a part of intestine gets in. Okay. So this is inguinal hernia, and now remember the spermatic cord. This canal is for the spermatic cord, inguinal canal. So what happens, the ductus deferens or vas deferens that takes the sperm out from the testis, this is the testis. So this is the ductus deferens, runs through the spermatic cord. And now when the small intestine enters into the inguinal canal, it pushes the spermatic cord and blocks the ductus deferens. Blocks ductus deferens. And ductus deferens takes the sperm out from the testis. So now, if that is blocked by the pressure, that will cause temporary infertility. Make sense? The tube is blocked, so sperm cannot get out from the testis, cannot get out from the body. Make sense? Because the small intestine pushes it. Okay? And until you remove that hernia, right, by surgical procedure, it can cause infertility. Sometimes those people who work like, every day you have to lift heavy weight, that can, push the abdominal organs downward side, and the small intestine can slowly get into that inguinal canal. Make sense? And eventually can also reach the wall of the inguinal canal. Like this is small intestine, this is the inguinal canal, can cause like this. Okay? Tear the inguinal canal. So that's the inguinal hernia. Anything else in male reproductive? Another clinical condition we hear very often, that is called enlargement of the prostate, prostatic enlargement. Okay, that is called prostatic hyperplasia. Prostatic hyperplasia. It is non-malignant enlargement of the prostate. Okay, so also that's why it is also called benign. Benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. BPH, benign prostatic hyperplasia. Enlargement of the prostate. And the actual cause is unknown, but age is a main factor that it happens in older people, okay, more. So one factor we know that age, when you get old, the chance of hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is enlargement of prostate, which is called hyperplasia. We also use this term, hypertrophy of prostate. Okay. Now the problem is, it can also occur due to infection or tumor or cell division, increased number of cells in the prostate, wall of the prostate. Now the problem is, the prostate, this is the prostate, and your urethra passes through the prostate. Okay? And your urinary bladder is here. So what happens, let me see, what is the urinary bladder? No, urinary bladder is here, above the prostate. Prostate is just under the bladder. So this is the bladder, urinary bladder, and then from the bladder we know that the urethra gets out and enters into the prostate and then enters into the penis in case of male. So this is the urethra. Okay. So when the prostate enlarges, that presses the urethra and can block the urethral passage. That is dangerous, right? It is so close to the urethra, and also through it the urethra is going. So when it gets bigger, it will press the urethra and will block the urethra, and the person will have severe pain to urinate. Make sense? Difficulty in urination. Okay, so that happens in enlargement of the prostate. And just behind the prostate, you have the rectum. anal canal and rectum. So you know rectum, that becomes anal canal here. So if you put the finger inside, if the prostate is enlarged, you can feel it. Make sense? You can feel it using your finger that prostate has been enlarged. And now sometimes doctors do that in older people. You see, that's a kind of routine check. Okay. Prostatitis. Itis is the inflammation, another clinical condition. Prostatitis is the infection or inflammation of the prostate. Okay? Prostatitis can sometimes cause hyperplasia or enlargement of the prostate. One more thing, the last thing. This is in female, irregularity in menstruation, menstrual irregularity. The term we use amenorrhea. A means what? A indicates what? You already know, right? Absence. Okay. So if menstruation is stopped, not happening, that is amenorrhea. Stoppage of menstruation. Dysmenorrhea. Painful menstruation. Cramping, that causes pain, painful menstruation. Okay, dysmenorrhea. Did you talk about ectopic pregnancy? Okay, so don't need to talk. So I think we are good. So those are some clinical conditions that occur. Another is loss of libido. Have you heard this word? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. So loss of interest, right? Loss of interest. In sex, that's the loss of libido. Erectile dysfunction disorder. That also happens in male. If you see inside the penis, you have erectile tissue like this. Inside the tissue, just know that this is interesting. You have tissue structures like this. These are called corpora cavernosa. So you have two corpora cavernosa inside the penis, okay? And these are called erectile tissues. Erectile tissue structures. And inside the corpora cavernosa, you have artery called deep artery. So artery inside the erectile tissue. This is very interesting. What happens? Blood gets out and enter into the tissue. In the tissue, you have a lot of spaces, sinuses, and what happens? The blood, when blood fills those sinuses, spaces in the corpora cavernosa, enlargement, right, and erection occurs. So basically, lot of blood gets out and enters into the corpora cavernosa. So when blood accumulates, that makes the enlargement, and the erection. Is it clear? And when blood goes back, again, goes back to its, pre-erectile shape. So this is interesting, how the
Wait, does the blood go back through the same artery?
seven, yes.
So does it like leave the artery and then go back in, or does
Yes.
the artery just, artery fill up?
What's the opening of the artery called to?
There are many, it's like the artery, there is like sinusoidal artery, there are many holes there, okay? So blood can get out, those arteries get open, those openings get open, blood gets out, okay, rush. So if there is something wrong there, then that can cause also erectile disorder at this point. Okay, so you have learned a lot of things. You have to remember, right? That is important. If you forget, until your exam, you have to keep remembering. Right? Okay.